We're here with Ted Moss, and we're talking fraud investigation and what Investigations America, your company, can do for this person right here.
Sure. So a lot of this, it could be business or consumer. Typically, it's more business oriented in terms of, like white collar crime, right?
Okay.
And we talked about, I think I gave you that statistic before, is 70% of U.S. bankruptcies are due to employee theft and embezzlement. But it could also be a fraud in the nature of, we had a case involving a probate will, where the relative discovered that her father, who had passed away, had a will, but that will was not his signature. So we ended up having to hire a handwriting analysis expert. We tracked down the two alleged witnesses who signed it. Yeah. They were not.
They had to be in on it too, or they didn't exist.
They one of them didn't exist, and one was in on it. And there was even an attorney involved who had put the whole thing together and notarized it. While he wasn't involved directly, it was his paralegal who had perpetrated the fraud. So that was on a consumer side, and then of course on the business side, it could be anything from examining the books of a company if you're experiencing losses due to employee theft. One case that comes to mind was we had somebody who they were a bookkeeping position for the company. They were writing checks to ghost companies, right? So they were making invoices that they were sending in for services that they said were rendered, and they were just paying out. And eventually the owners of the company looked at this and said, why are we bleeding money, right? So we came in and did some investigation, and we have resources where we can bring in certified fraud examiners. We can bring in forensic accountants, depending on the situation.
You guys have the whole gamut of whatever is needed for this. So, hey, Ted, quick question though. Somebody's what is it that alert somebody about the fraud? Like, when do they know I need fraud help? Is there something, and maybe even advice, if you're feeling this, is it a gut feel? Is it an obvious thing that's appearing on the books?
Well, if you're in a business, you better be looking at the numbers.
Yeah,
and I don't care if you have an accountant. I don't care. So usually when they find out is when they finally say, why doesn't my bank account match up with what's actually in the bank? Why doesn't my QuickBooks or whatever my accounting software? So oversee that stuff, right? Your accountant generally only does your taxes. So, you want to trust but verify is what we like to say, right? So usually in the business side, and on the personal side, that usually is a gut feeling, right? There's something not adding up about grandma's will. There's something not adding up about this situation here, So, but I would say this: trust your instincts and act sooner rather than later, because the sooner we can jump on something, the sooner we can kind of plug the holes in the bucket and, get you back on track.
Well, great. Well, thanks for sharing that, Ted. And again, if you suspect anything, if you got that feeling in your gut, Investigations America, they can help you.